Hey guys, what's up? Jared here, Dex and Dice, Ramblings of an LGS owner. Um, yeah, so it's been a minute as far as legit ramblings video. As you can tell, things are different behind me. We're at the new location, still kind of cobbling things together. But yeah, it's been fun. So I'd like to kind of touch on two things here. I'm going to try to be quick about this because we open at noon. It's like 10:30. And I already had to stop this video once because I had someone walk in because I guess I forgot to lock the front door and people can't seem to use Google to get store hours or whatever. But anyways, that's on me. I didn't lock the door. So, but here we go. Um, let's touch on the Roca Sifter and the changes to the WPN. Um, First and foremost, with the Roca Sifter, if you can afford it, do it. Um, if you have to like break the bank to do it or whatever, by all means don't. But I would suggest doing it. We've had, and this is coming from someone who had the card bot from Card Kingdom. Um, we didn't have a really good time with that one. It was pretty bad, so we ended up sending it back. But it's a sifter. It's not trying to, do everything that a fizz batch can do with only 3 bays and all the other shit that the card bot had. That was just no. Anyways, it's from Roca. They're tried and true. They've got a decent enough track record. So like, and it's in its own little like closed little what's the word I'm looking for? Like closed atmosphere or whatever. So like it's doesn't have to worry about perfect lighting. The settings don't have to be like, perfect or whatever. So like recognition should be a lot better. It's got 3 bays in it. I'm really hoping that what I heard in one of the little shorts that I saw was correct, where like the guy was, I think he was scanning the foils or whatever, and he was like, the foils are going bay 1, non-foils bay 2, and if it just can't determine if it's a foil or not, it goes into bay 3, which is a reject pile. So like if you can set that up to actually do that with like a reject pile, that's great. That was one of my biggest complaints about the card bot, was that it was only 3 lanes, but one lane was the feed lane. So it would use like one lane for acceptable shit, and the other lane was for stuff that like didn't fall within whatever parameters you put in there. But it would also put in shit that it couldn't identify into that not within your parameters stuff. So like, you essentially had to go back through and scan the reject pile for cards that you knew that might have been in there that weren't in the accept. Anyways, if you're interested in that whole shebang, there's other videos on the channel to go back and look at, okay? But so, anyways, Roca has, their technology's better. I'm sure that they'll have way better accuracy and everything than what the card bot did. So I'm trying not to let that experience like overshadow my initial thoughts on this, because like, or my thoughts in general. My initial thoughts were, man, fuck this. But it took me like a day or two to convince myself to do it, and I went ahead and did it. Because like, if you're like me, you've been doing this like on this level for 5 years now, and I mean, we have like 119,000 cards listed on TCG Player between the stuff that we carry, and I'm willing to bet easily 70, 80,000 of those are probably Magic alone. But like, you eventually get to a point to where you look at we'll just say, and this is just examples, but like you look at a case of, we'll say TMNT, and you're like, fuck, I gotta bust that open. I gotta sort everything out of that. Then I gotta scan everything. Then I gotta put everything into the inventory, like file it or whatever in the boxes and shit. Like, there's a point where you just hit where it's like, man, I don't even enjoy really doing this anymore, like this particular part. So this sifter is going to hopefully take that bottleneck away. It'll go from, okay, cool, Now I just break open this stuff, and then just an example, okay? You break open this stuff, you can probably go ahead and sort it as whatever you want to do, like do a loose alpha or whatever, and then start sorting everything in there by like price or whatever. Or if you're going to list the entire damn set like we will, you just feed the things in there until you're done, and you file it back loose alpha, and you upload the CSV, and you're done with it. Like, it's going to help that little bottleneck of having to sit there with your fucking phone and scan it, and the way the TCG app currently does right now, it sucks big dick. No offense, TCG, but your app really sucks right now. Because like, you scan something, and if it doesn't take it automatically, it brings up the little options, and if you click on the option that it's supposed to be, there's a 50-50 chance when you click on what it's supposed to be, it just disappears. And you can't scan that card again until you rescan something else, and you can go back and scan that card, and hope to God, when you press on it, it actually acknowledges it and just doesn't fucking disappear, because that pisses me off, honestly. That's a good way to add an extra fucking 10-15 seconds per card that you're doing when you have 400 fucking cards you're trying to scan. That kind of adds up, But anyways, so like, it's going to be way more of a tool. You can't compare it to like an actual legitimate, Roca sorter or a fizz batch or anything like that. This is literally just going to be a handy dandy little tool to help you, or people like me, I guess, to get over that bottleneck of, man, fuck this, It'll do like 1,800 cards in an hour. It's got a little 400 card bin that you can just keep manually feeding and stuff. The 3 little bins hold 250 cards each. So it's not phenomenal, but it's better than you hunched over and trying to scan your shit and maybe getting it right, maybe not. But like, even when the accuracy comes down to it, you're going to scan it. It's going to go into the scan and identify thing for TCG player. You're going to manually look through it anyways to see like if it got most things correct. Because if you're like me, you probably won't trust it anyways, and after the card bot fiasco, I won't 100% trust it, so I'm going to go back through and double check everything, like you should anyways. Like, you just should anyways. But like, if I were to put this little pile in there, I'm going to just scan through and be like, okay, generally that's what's in there, scan it, look at what it put up and be like, okay, cool, it got everything right, or no, it got this one wrong. It's not from, I don't know, we'll say Outlaws of Thunder Junction, it's actually from Foundations or something, So, but the idea behind it is really cool. Like, I like the price point. It seems reasonable for what it's going to do. And like, even if it helps only like increase your sales by like 5% or 10% or whatever, like, it'll pay for itself. It'll pay for itself real quick. Because like last year we did 140,000 in sales on TCG Player alone, and honestly, an extra 5-10% bump in just those sales would be great. Like, who would complain about that? Sure shit, not me. This is going to help me get through a bunch of the bulk that I have, just kind of waiting. It's going to help, and it's portable too. Like, that's another thing. It's portable, so like, for me, if it ends up being good enough, I'll get 2. But like, for right now, I can bring it to the shop. I can scan in everything here or whatever and take care of stuff here at the shop. I can bring it back home, show the wife how to use it and everything, and she can do the mana pool stuff with it. Hopefully, if it uploads a CSV that can be used, elsewhere or whatever. So that's TBD. We don't know about that yet, but theoretically, this is how it's going to happen. So she can take it, get the CSV, upload it to Manapool, and help her just start listing a lot more stuff on Manapool, because she has kind of commandeered the Manapool stuff. So, more power to her. Thank you. But I would highly suggest, if you're on the fence about this, get it. If it's gonna, like I said, if it's gonna break the bank, then don't. I wouldn't take out a loan for it. I mean, it would be a really small loan anyways, because it's $800 for the machine. It's $25 a month for the software or whatever, but it's billed annually, so it's an extra $300. So $1,100. The shipping, I think, was like 40 or 50 bucks or whatever. So like $1,200, and you've got yourself what could quite possibly be a really, really nice addition to your small little setup like mine. Or like for Rob, he's going to use it to sort shit before he goes into his Roca, so he doesn't have to, his fizz batch, my bad. So he doesn't beat the shit out of his fizz batch like he had to. So, I really think it's going to be a net positive for everything, because like I said, we did it like 138, 140,000 last year on TCG Player. I know, I hear some of you back there, oh, that's all you fucking did? Yeah, that's all we fucking did. But like I said, even a 5 or a 10% increase on that, which I'm expecting it to do more as far as helping us list more, inventory go wide, inventory go burr kind of thing. So I expect a little bit more than a 5 or a 10% increase. Like 12 to 15 would be the sweet spot. But, 5 or 10% to a 15% increase, and we'll say 140,000 a year. Not bad. Not bad. Definitely pays for itself. So, if you can do it, do it. Don't listen to all these retards out here trying to be like, it's a bad thing, there's too much, it's not worth it, whatever. They may be right, but they might be wrong too. Pretty sure they're wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. Next thing that I kind of wanted to touch on was the changes to the WPN and all that, which is kind of weird. Because they're doing like a tier system now. And they released the message or email or whatever it was on the 4th or the 5th. I can't remember. But they cut off applications for WPN status on the 4th. So it's like you're retooling this, but you're cutting off the applications. So how the hell do stores become WPN? Because admittedly, I did not read everything. I did not click on every little link. I didn't, scrutinize this with a magnifying glass. It's just I gave it a general glance. It was like, oh, okay. So, like, how do you become WPN now? Is everyone technically WPN, but not? Like, if that's the case, then that's kind of like a boot in the face to all of us who had to qualify to be WPN to begin with, because, like, you have to do a video tour of your stuff, show them. You have signage, show them where the product is, show them your playroom, open up every fucking door in your building to show them where it goes. Like, they kept rejecting us because they didn't like our floors, and they didn't like the fact that I didn't have molding around my sheetrock. Yeah. So, like, I got ingenuitive and figured something out, we'll put it that way, but like replacing an entire fucking floor and like in our old spot in a 2,000 square foot shit was at the low end that I found around me was like $3,000 or $4,000. Who the fuck would want to pay that much just to be WPN? Like, it would have paid for itself throughout the year, to a break-even point because of what WPN used to be. But let's be honest, right now, the main perks for WPN is you get your shit a week early. That's pretty much it. I get to sell stuff a week early. Yeah. Because they took away the promo stamps for the pre-release kits, so there's nothing really special about pre-release kits anymore. Woo, you get a spin down. Okay. You get promo packs, but like, according to Wizards, I have like 47 dedicated players or whatever. However it breaks down. Anyways, I I get 6 promo packs a week. Yeah, I get 6 promo packs for 47 people, and that's just the ones that actually have signed up for a fucking, on the companion app and made an account. That's not including the people that just come in to free play. That's not including the people that just don't want to make an account but still participate in like our Commander League and all that good stuff. Like, I get 6 packs a week to divvy up between 47 plus people. Like, what good does that really do? Like, I mean, we make do, mind you, but like the best that I can typically do is, whoever does top 4 for the night, you get to split the promo packs for that week, or I walk around and toss a promo pack on the table in the pod you're playing with and be like, winner gets the promo pack. Like, there's only so much you can really do with 6 promo packs a week for 47 people until you send me a restock of those in the next 2 months, 3 months, or whatever it might be. So, let's not really act like WPN is the greatest thing ever anymore. It used to be pretty fucking badass, to be completely honest with you, but not so much anymore. It's kind of weird with the tiering system because they're going to do, it's going to a quarterly thing, which is kind of cool because that doesn't necessarily mean that like the last set will completely fuck you like it can now. It can still fuck you quarterly because if they release 2 sets that suck, then it doesn't matter like what your attendance is typically, but like if they release if they release 2 TMNT failures or whatever in a quarter, and you have like, we'll just use my numbers or whatever, you have 47 people that come in and play all the damn time, but there's 2 sets that they don't care about and they don't want to play in the pre-release or anything like that, then you just get boned. So like, I don't quite get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't like it, It also makes me wonder if they're going to kind of like tell you how to operate your LGS even more than they already do. With like ranking everything so much more heavily on attendance for their dumb little events that they want you to do, like Standard Showdown, Store Championship, because let's be honest, Standard Showdown, Store Championship, no one gives a fuck about those unless there's a decent enough card to win or whatever, Sometimes they have these weird little like D&D events they want you to run. What stores can run those often enough to where it's gonna matter, A lot of stores don't have like a dedicated room or whatever for D&D, which most people would prefer when playing D&D, I would assume. So that way you can just get immersed in the world and not be sidetracked by one of the commander players screaming about, someone, I don't know, pact negating their soul ring turn 1 or whatever, But yeah, like, it seems like it might end up hurting shops that can't drum up that kind of participation for all of their events over that quarter. Like, they're gonna probably look at everything and be like, well, your commander night's solid. You have like us anywhere from 28 to 40 people, just depends on who's in town, what's going on, blah blah blah. But no one shows up for anything else. Like, you have stuff created in the calendar, which, full disclosure, I don't do that anymore because it's been a waste of our fucking time, so I don't post stuff like that anymore. But like, are they going to be like, well, everything else is a 0, we're going to hold that against you because you should have people come into your Standard Showdown, your Store Championship, your enter other random events they want you to run here. And it's like, nah, bro, that shit like that might pop off in metropolitan areas or whatever, but I'm out in the sticks, technically. My people don't give a shit about that. They just don't, and rightfully so. I don't give a shit about it. But, you know, unless you're going to have stores just flubbing numbers to flub numbers to flub numbers to rise in tier and all that, which I'm sure will happen. It happens all the fucking time. But, like, once this happens, once they institute it completely, which I think won't be until the end of this year, but, like, are they going to make you drop tiers because no one else shows up to anything else? You know, like, are you going to be penalized because no one gives a shit about standard? You know, like, who, unless there's going to be another, like, I don't know, foil borderless Urza saga on the line for store championship, or another, you know, Ocelot Pride that's foil and borderless or full art or whatever the hell you want to call it. You know, like, and even then, I had, like, I think 6 people for that one, or 8 people for that one, and it was only because it was the full art, you know, no text Ocelot Pride. That was the whole reason why anyone came, was to possibly win that fucking card, you know? But I digress a bit. You know, is that going to be held against us because no one wants to show up to the other dumb shit that they want you to run, you know? Like, I don't think that would be cool. I really don't. Because not every shop is in New York or Miami or Los Angeles or Atlanta, Charlotte, you know, fucking Portland, where they are. Like, I can't help, and this is probably my southern retard coming out in me or whatever, but it is what it is. But, like, I can't help but think that everyone up there in the ivory tower thinks that every place is like fucking Portland, where, I don't know, I guess everything is fucking sanitized, corpo, just like everything looks almost the same, everything acts almost the same, everything is just at corpo.exe is the best thing I can think, you know, like everything's fucking cookie cutter, everything is just, oh, well, you don't have $300,000 to throw at the problem? What the fuck is wrong with you kind of shit, you know? But that's, I guess, that's my own little personal chip on my shoulder. I'll drop that one. But, like, everywhere else, it doesn't seem like anyone cares. You know, no one cares about standard. Modern might be the closest thing that most people care about, and even then, I'm wondering if it's only because I believe the next RCQ season is modern, you know? Like, they're completely out of touch with even just their normal player base, and trying to hold LGS as more, I guess, accountable to make their products sell more or more predominant or whatever, just by having events listed on the calendars. I don't know if it's some kind of a, like, optics thing like that, you know, where they can toot their own little horns at maybe their shareholder meetings or whatever and be like, hey, look, we have thousands upon thousands of events scheduled, and look at the, you know, participation for X, Y, and Z or whatever. We're such good people. Our fucking shit is amazing, kind of thing, you know? But anyways, I don't know. I can see where it would backfire, especially on, like, small little local yokel shops like mine, where no one's going to care and my participation's not really going to change that much, you know? So is that going to be one of those weird things where I just plateau and that's it? I'm always going to stay tier 2 or 1 or whatever for, like, the rest of eternity until, I don't know, maybe I hit the lottery and can afford to put a shop down in, like, Columbia or Charleston or up in Greenville or something, you know? Like, anyways, I guess I'll leave you guys alone. It's been about 25 minutes. I just wanted to touch on those two things, man, and I don't know, just let me know what you think. Like, for real, just like let me know, just in the comments below. Be like, you're a fucking retard. You know, stop. Just quit, or you agree, or whatever. Like, it's weird. It's really weird. But anyways, I'm gonna get off of here and I don't know, maybe go see how strong the rafters are or something. And you guys have a good one. And like I like to say, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. You're a trash can, not a trash can't. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Just, you know, yeah, like, sub, all that good stuff. Do that thing because it helps. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there. Take it easy.